Welcome to the Level Up Show with Nick Lopez. Today, I am absolutely honored to have this guest on today, the great Kim Daly. Kim, welcome to the show.
Oh, Nick, thank you so much for having me. You're the great Nick Lopez.
Well, oh my gosh, I have been such a fan of all of your content. I love the Daly Show, Daily Coach,
The Daily
Daily
Coach
Show.
Show. Yeah.
What is it exactly?
Well, I go by kimdaly.tv, but I'm called the Daily Coach.
Daily Coach. Yes, Daily Coach. Oh my gosh, I totally just butchered that up and down, but that's all right.
It's totally fine.
It doesn't change the fact that I absolutely love your content. I can't tell you how many times you'll post something and I'm like, what? I was just thinking that, or I think that all the time.
I love it. That's awesome.
So,
That's because we're in the same business, Nick.
we really are.
Two different sides of the equation, but we're in the same business.
Yeah. Well, those that don't know, I know Kim wouldn't say it herself, but one of the top franchise consultants in the country. And that just, oh my gosh, it just shows the pedigree, expertise, talent, everything that I admire about you and so many other people admire. And so many people admire you, Kim, because you're just such a great leader in franchising. And like I said, it's an honor to have you on. And with that being said, I'm so curious, what got somebody like Kim Daly, this amazing icon and legend that has me nervous to talk to her on the Level Up Show. What got you into franchising?
You're making me blush. I don't know if you know who Stan Friedman is, but he has a podcast called Franchise Today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Stan introduced me to the expression, how did franchising find you? And I'm like, that's such a great question, right? Because nobody really wakes up and says, oh yeah, like I'm going into franchising, right? So how did franchising find Kim Daly? Actually, through a classified ad in the newspaper. And this is a true story. Shows my age. It shows my age. And by the way, you say pedigree, you say all these things and making me a top consultant. I say years of experience. Yeah. Lots and lots of trial and error. Okay. So I actually, there was two things I wanted to be, Nick, when I was a little girl. One was a motivational speaker. So I grew up in the Miss America pageant organization. I always sort of had a heart to be an influencer before Kim Kardashian was even an influencer. I always wanted to be a role model, help other people, inspire other people. And my father gave me a book by Dr. Dennis Waitley called The Psychology of Winning. He gave me that book when I was about 15 years old. And I remember sitting on my bedroom floor, like devouring that book. And I knew right then and there, this was my purpose. I wanted to learn this stuff and I wanted to be able to teach it to other people. But like, how does one go on to like be a motivational speaker? So I was a straight A student. I did what straight A students do. You become a science major. You decide you're going to go to medical school and become a doctor and help people by being a doctor. And anyway, I was after undergrad, I answered a classified ad in the newspaper for a summer job. And it was for a franchise consulting company, not the one I'm part of today. But that was my first entry into franchising. And I knew very, very quickly that I had found my people when I found franchising, because this is an entire industry of people helping people every single day. People wake up to realize their dreams. There are people all around you to support you and coach you and encourage you and influence you, right? It's not a backstabbing, ladder climbing, out for yourself world, right? Franchising is a place where collectively we know we are stronger together. I had found my heaven. And of course I broke off because as every good franchise owner thinks they know how to do it themselves, goes on to become an entrepreneur. I did that too, because I don't need a franchisor. I did that for 5 years only to realize, you know what? I think I'm going to go find myself a franchise where this trial and error stuff is really, really hard. And I need the support of other people. And all the things I've been helping people realize in terms of connecting them with franchises now for the last 20 years, those are all the things that I lived as an entrepreneur and said, man, there's got to be an easier, faster, better way. And there is. It's called franchising. So, and I've been a consultant now for 20 years.
Yeah, so much pedigree, and you said it, experience. My gosh. And whether it's a franchisor, as you mentioned, the trial and error that goes into being a franchisor and establishing the systems and process and competing in the marketplace, you have done something very similar in terms of leveling up and trial and error and navigating this matchmaking profession that you do, and that I admire you for, and so many people do. So I'm curious, how have you helped people to level up through franchising?
Well, when people come to me with the dream to own a franchise, most of the candidates I work with, they don't really even understand the full value of what they're going to get by investing in a franchise. So I think the magic of what I do for people is bring clarity to their dream. People say, I know a little bit about franchising, or I know a lot about franchising. They think they do, but it's not until you get in and you actually explore a franchise and begin meeting the people in the franchise who can breathe life into the business plan, right? It's so much more than looking at a franchise disclosure document and deciding, okay, this is the investment I can afford. Like, how do you know that? Just by looking at numbers on a piece of paper. You have to be in this relationship where the people who have created the system can breathe life into those numbers and show you in the real world how they come together. And so my coaching with my candidates is just that. They come to me with a dream to explore a franchise or to own a franchise to somehow change their life. Maybe they don't even know if franchising is the right option for them. Maybe there's different options in front of them. But oftentimes I can help them see that they can be, have, and do anything they want if they find the right franchisor to guide them, like the right franchise system to take their goals and dreams to, and then to go live those dreams. So I think that's how I help them level up.
I never thought of it that way, how the brand would give life to the business plan.
Yeah.
That's such a neat way to think about it.
Behind the brand give life, right? So, what is a brand? When I'm talking to candidates, I say, look, what is a brand? Well, a brand is a consistent consumer experience. So it takes a lot of leadership, right, Nick? To be the leader behind a brand where every store or every territory is independently owned. It takes clear, big vision, a lot of money, a lot of patience. You're preaching to the choir, Kim Daly. and then it takes leadership, because you've got to get all of those franchise owners who have their own goals and dreams and their own thoughts, and you've got to corral all of these personalities and lead them down the path to get them marching to the same beat, right?
Yeah.
So that everybody is delivering that brand experience with consistency to their customers. Well, that's no easy feat, which is why franchising is not an easy thing to do or to achieve.
Yeah. And so helping people realize their dreams, by helping this idea of their dream come to life through the people that make up all these really interesting and awesome and unique brands and businesses that you probably would never even think are franchising. And you're helping, you're helping folks to navigate and realize their dream. Oh my gosh. I guess I never really thought about it from that standpoint, but.
Well, let's use your story, Nick. So when you were a guest on my show, you said you went to college and you had a lot of big bills to pay, right? And you realized you could paint houses. You could paint a lot of little houses, or you could paint big houses, right? So like for you, painting houses was a means to an end. So another way to say what I'm saying is that the business is the means to an end, and it's who you align yourself with, right? So you have a vision for how you want your life to look. We find the franchise that's the vehicle that can drive your life personally, professionally, and financially to the new place, right? So painting helped you see that you could get from where you were in college, paying those bills, to graduate without a lot of debt, right? So it was just the vehicle that got you there. But then in a franchise, you're also partnering yourself with people for that journey, right? So you don't have to go it alone. You don't have to figure it all out. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're not sitting and struggling and trying to work out all of the problems on your own. You have a franchisor, you have other franchisees, and collectively we're just better together. And it's more fun. It's more satisfying, right? The best part of franchise, the franchise that I'm a part of, like I consider franchise to be my franchise, right? Because we have a consultant agreement and we pay royalties and we're trained and supported by a corporate office. So I live the life of a franchisee. But the best part of franchise, it's the people. That's why I've been here for 20 years. You know, they say you become like the 5 people closest to you. I want to be like anybody at franchise, right? Because they're all high level, top performing, amazing, amazing people. And even as I've, grown my business and achieved amazing levels of success, there are consultants at franchise that may be brand new, but if they're given an opportunity to share how they do what they do, I guarantee you, I can learn something from them.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And clearly the leadership at franchise or the leadership at Lime, there are different founding stories, and that leadership personality just permeates throughout the organization. And from my standpoint, seeing that play out, the neatest thing has been, seeing Lime become far beyond myself. At one point, it was just me. Right. And now it is exactly what you just said, the people. And oh my gosh, culture kicks strategy's butt every day. And seeing that live out, you're speaking to it. Why am I so passionate about what I do? So I know you've spoken a little bit around it, but what do you think creates that passion for you day in and day out?
My own passion comes from my own drive, which comes from my own goals. I always have had, my dad, when I was little, like always inspired me to dream really big. And in a lot of circles I'm in, I'm the biggest dreamer. And that's sometimes the dumb part of me and sometimes the magic part, right? But like, I am not afraid to like put myself out there and like even pronounce to the world, like some of the like ostentatious goals that I have. Well, what I've learned is that if you get 100% of your goal is way too small. And I would rather get 60% of a massive goal than 100% of a small goal all day long. Because in the course of my life, I'm going to end up so much further along by getting only 60% than by getting 100%. Do you agree? If you're franchise owners, let's put it in practical terms, would you rather have first-year franchise owners all aiming for $1 million and landing at 600,000, or aiming at 300 and getting 300?
Yeah.
Right. And you're only going to rise to your own level of expectation.
Yeah.
So if you don't expect it, you're not getting it. I'm sorry to say. So the bigger you're expecting, the more you're going to get. It's just the law of attraction. It's how the universe works. So you've got to dream big. And I'd say that my passion is driven by my goals, drive it's an internal thing, isn't it? I'm competitive with myself. I don't have high expectations of other people. I have high expectations of myself. Like I know that I was put here to achieve amazing, amazing things, and I want to achieve every single one of them. I don't want to leave anything undone before I'm done. Yeah. And so that gets me out of bed every day. And my heart for God gets me out of bed every day to serve other people. I'm not money motivated. Money is the measure in our world, but the measure that I really want are the lives changed, are the people I can touch, are the people I can inspire. Nick, some of the best people that I have helped in 20 years of consulting are people that couldn't afford to invest in a franchise. But I decided to invest my time with them for 20 or 30 minutes and teach them a little bit about franchising and what it would cost and when they would be ready. Because maybe by inspiring somebody's dream at that level, they will remember me when they get there and they could call me back. Or maybe they'll just remember how somebody breathed life into a dream that they had, even if they never are able to achieve that dream. Okay, like I'll wake up for that all day long every day, right? So that drive and that passion comes from that. It just comes from my own really big goals, and I'm clear about what I want to achieve, and that drives me and motivates me, but also to serve other people and to help other people like live their best life.
Oh my gosh, Kim. Yeah, I am almost speechless, but so much of what you said was just making me I'm like, let's go. Let's go.
That's why you and I are like instant friends.
Let's go. Let's go. I love it.
There's so much opportunity in the world, and it's our humanness that limits us. And I go back to my parents. They blessed me with such a firm foundation of faith in my life. And being able to believe in what you cannot see, like that is faith, right? Wow. And the dream, it's the loyalty to the dream. Faith is loyalty to the dream. And I'm loyal to my own dreams. And I want every single person to dream. Like I made a video not too long ago. As you mentioned, I have KimDaly.tv, which literally is like the single greatest thing I've ever done in my life. It's the most fun I've ever had, like ever. So my YouTube channel was born out of the pandemic. So I used to travel around the country and host live events. And that's how I would get people to want to work with me as a consultant. Well, when I couldn't get people together, I had to figure out a new way or die. So I invented myself on KimDaly.tv, and it's the best adaptation. Like I'm so grateful for 2020 for that outcome. I probably would have got there, but I don't know when. Like I probably would have got there eventually, but we're here now and it's so fun. So I don't know if you've ever had these moments, but I've had two kind of like really big moments in my journey of being a franchise consultant that were sort of like where you find yourself smack dab in the middle of your dream, where you're not just dreaming the dream, you find yourself like in the middle of living the dream. And I had that experience after our 10th video shoot. It was like in January of this year, I think. And in the middle of saying whatever I was saying on the camera, I like in my mind was having this other conversation with myself about being 15 years old and having the dream to be a motivational speaker. In all the years when I was young and in college and trying to figure out like, how does one get to be a Tony Robbins or to be on a stage and motivate people? And I don't want to be living out of a suitcase, and I don't want to have to travel all the time which is what I was doing as a consultant anyway. But I didn't want to have to do that, and God works it out. We record Kim Daly videos in my house, Nick. I'm not going anywhere. I'm sitting here living my dream, and God worked it out to where I get to do it from home. Like, how crazy is that? And so I remember I was making the video. I wish I could remember which video, but I made a video that night after the cameras were off, and just sort of like saying it. By sharing this, it's not, oh, look at you, Kim Daly, you're living your dreams. It's not that at all. It's to inspire people to dream. Because if I didn't have the dream, then I couldn't be living the dream. Do you get it? Yeah. If you're not dreaming with clarity about what you want, then you can't wake up in the middle of it and go, oh my God, I'm here.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, well. Yeah, congrats, Kim. I mean, that is a dream and a lot of work and effort and moving existence to, as you said, the law of attraction, right? And for you to realize that moment, my gosh, there was such a journey that led up to that.
There is. It was, I mean, that dream started when I was 15. I'm 49. So, and it's a dream that, like, again, I wasn't trying to figure out how to make it happen. That's one of the things I've learned along the way of this faith journey, is the best things in life really do come to you. You do not have to go find them, right? Yeah. I had my producer. So years ago, I had wanted to, Dallas was a really big market for me for many years as a consultant. And I wanted to bring a camera crew to Dallas and go into the stores, the physical franchise locations, and interview these people that I had met when they were in career transition, and help them achieve this dream of owning this Supercuts or owning this Mako. And so I had this guy, Adam, who's now my producer for Kim Daly TV. And we traveled, he flew with me to Dallas, and we did that. That was in 2017. Well, God knew that 2020 would come and Kim Daly would be wanting to start Kim Daly TV before Kim knew it. And so I already had the right people in my life. Just God was just bringing it all together. The dream to be a motivational speaker was what I was always destined to do, because I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I was born to be a franchise consultant. Like, but no one says that, right? Like, that's not what I was saying. But this is like, people are like, well, do you own franchises? And I'm like, that's like such an insulting question. This, number one, is a franchise. And number two, like, don't you see that, like, this is like what I was born to do? Can you not see that?
Yeah.
I want to inspire the dream in you while I live my own dream. So.
Oh, such an inspiration, Kim. As you're talking, you know, I can't help but ask, I was thinking, you know, what was a surprising realization that you might have not had once you got into franchising and you living out your dream?
A surprising realization. Well, I think about franchising in general is that truly anybody can achieve their dreams with the right franchise. Do you agree with that? Like, I mean, maybe you don't have the depth that I have in terms of, like, I've worked with people, Nick, who I remember early on in my days of being a consultant, before I realized that it's not my job to play God with people's lives, like thinking, oh my gosh, this person should probably not invest in a franchise. Yeah. I have one person specifically in mind, and that person today is a multi-millionaire, right? Thank God I didn't hinder the guy's dream. I remember thinking it, like, is this guy really the right guy? But he found a franchise that he used to literally change his life. He is a multi-millionaire now, one of the top performing franchises in a system that has over 900 franchisees. He is consistently in the top 25 performers. Like, so I think that is probably the most surprising thing, that you, a franchisor and a consultant, can never know who's going to go on to become the one. We think we can. We look at the resume, right? We get to know them. We think, oh, these people are going to crush it. And then they go out and barely get by, decide to sell their business after 18 months. And then some people were, I don't know. So what does that mean? What it means is that it's the people's internal drive and the clarity of their vision and what's their intention. Why are they doing it? What's motivating them to get out of bed every day? And if you connect the right, most powerful why with a good leader like Nick, with strong tools, the rest is history.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't tell you how much I've seen that play out. What an insightful thing to say, Kim. Yeah, you can't rule out, you can't play God with whether somebody can make their dream come true and be given the opportunity.
I think it's hard for candidates, if they're listening to this, like oftentimes, you see them wanting to use an earnings claim to figure out how much money they're going to make, or, hearing from one or two owners who maybe aren't doing well and then deciding, oh, well, people aren't doing well, so I shouldn't do this. And the hardest part of what we do is helping those people understand that what anybody else has done or is doing or will do has zero impact on what you can do, right? Because what you do is up to you.
Yep.
And I've become kind of bold in telling my story around that, because I was an average performing consultant for 8 years, at FranChoice. And then I did one thing. This was back in 2011. And 1 year later, I was a history-making franchise consultant. And I've spent the last decade at, history-making plus levels, driving it to new heights and new heights. What can't be done, it can be done. It's done through my mindset.
Wow.
Right? So if I can do that, you can do it. So don't limit yourself based on an earnings claim or what you heard anybody else doing. You get a clear vision, you get a powerful why, you get in there and give yourself the grace of time and patience and trial and error, right? Even though Nick's program or any other franchise may be proven, if it's your first time owning a business, you still have your own trial and error, right? You still have your own path to grow. And the only way to do it is to go down the path. You cannot know it all before you say yes. You've got to get yourself in the arena, make some mistakes, see what works and see what doesn't work, and then just keep refining it. That's the only way to do it, right?
And so it sounds like you had a turning point where you leveled up in your career.
I did.
Oh my gosh.
It's called a divorce, Nick.
Well, so you leveled up. You leveled up.
Yep. As some would say, I was running from the tiger. I was running from myself, but I was going to prove to myself and to everybody that I could make it. Yeah, it was my first year of being divorced and being a single mom. And I had to get busy and I had to figure life out for myself. And I put my head down. I stopped arguing for my limitations. I stopped making excuses. I stopped focusing on what anybody else was doing, or at that point, no one really talked about what people were doing in our industry. I just set a really, really big goal for myself because that's when I'm at my best.
Yeah.
And I shut up. Like I go to the trainer at the gym and he's like, just show up and shut up. And that's what I did for 1 year. And I just didn't doubt myself. I just stayed focused, like laser focused. And every day, what's so funny, Nick, is I didn't really have like numbers to play with or a plan of how I was going to achieve this financial goal. But I just knew that I could. And I just didn't doubt it. that was really what I just, every day I came to work, I focused on my goal and I did not talk against myself. And I still remember the day. It was a few weeks before Christmas, a few days before Christmas, and our CFO, I got the fourth quarter, I was getting close to achieving this legendary history making goal for myself. I didn't know it would be a history making goal for anybody else at the time, thank God. And that speaks to when you have a big dream, don't tell anybody, because if they tell you it's never been done, you're going to talk yourself out of it. So keep it to yourself. And so I remember, the CFO, at the end, I said, just add it up. And I remember him calling me and telling me, and I was $4.28 over my goal. Oh my gosh. I remember the feeling in my body of, wow, like the power of our mind. When we are clear, when we ask, it is given always. The main thing is we have to not resist. We have to open ourselves to receive. And I asked big and I stayed open and I opened myself to receive every single day for 1 year. And then once you do something once, now you can believe it, because faith isn't believing in what's seen, it's believing in what's unseen. But now I could really believe it. But I also had numbers that I could now study. I could look at, and I could make a plan from those numbers. And so I wouldn't have to be a one-hit wonder, and it didn't all have to be on faith now. But that's what I tell my first year business owners. Look, the first year, don't try to have every I dotted and every T crossed. Just be clear about what you want and what you are worth. And then wake up every day being the owner worthy of that dream, and watch it come to you, because it will come always. 100%. Ask and it is given, right?
Some sage advice. I love it. Yeah, a new franchise owner, my gosh, dream big, be willing to put in the work, commit to it, put your head down, protect your headspace, and then have fun and catch on to the themes, build that momentum, and have a lot of fun in the compounding season. My goodness. Kim, it's been such an honor to have you on the Level Up Show. I know your time is so precious. Thank you for sharing it with me. Thank you for sharing it with anyone who's watching. If you've liked it, please subscribe, share. The Daly Show, I highly recommend it. Check it out. And as always, get limed.